Silas Orven claims he's from the future.
A few months ago, a man appeared out of nowhere, claiming to be from the future. He introduced himself as Silas Orven, a name that does not exist in any global database. Verifying his identity is impossible. It's as if he hasn't even been born yet. Throughout history, a few individuals have made similar claims. But this one feels different. This one feels disturbingly real. Because after leaving behind a single book filled with his revelations, he vanished without a trace. No interviews, no social media, no attention-seeking. Unlike the others, he didn't cling to the spotlight.
Time can be edited, just like when an author adds or changes a chapter in his ebook. Readers receive an update and see that some things were added and some were removed from the book. Time isn't any different.
He behaved as if he had one mission: deliver a warning and disappear. The book he left behind is nothing short of shocking. Inside it, he presents unhinged, yet hauntingly coherent ideas about aliens, about AI, about the return of Jesus, about God, about how this reality actually functions, and about the future that awaits humanity. A future that feels more uncertain than ever. People who have read it say they've never encountered anything like it. The knowledge inside feels almost foreign to this dimension. Maybe it is. We can't say for sure. But one thing is undeniable. This story is staggering.
All right, today we're peeling back the layers on a figure who's built this entire belief system around himself, all without ever revealing his true identity. So who is Silas Orven, and how exactly does his so-called system actually work? Let's deconstruct it.
So, the central claim? It's a big one. Silas Orven says he's a traveler from the future, sent back to reveal the hidden laws of our reality. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, right? And it's absolutely designed to grab your attention and not let go.
But on the flip side of that incredible claim is a much darker possibility. Is this a genuine prophet, or are we looking at a highly skilled architect of illusion, someone who has truly mastered the art of psychological manipulation? You know, that's the core question we really have to answer here.
Okay, so to understand the system, we first have to look at the person or the idea right at the center of it. This section is all about the enigma himself. Who, or maybe what, is Silas Orven?
And this is the crucial point. You got to get this. The entire system is a closed loop. It's a bubble. Every single piece of information, every prophecy, all this secret knowledge, it all comes from one single, totally unverifiable source, his website. That's it. No interviews, no external validation, absolutely no proof.
And these four pillars, they just work together perfectly. His total anonymity means he can't be challenged. The claims of secret knowledge make him seem like the ultimate authority. And lack of verification, well, that actually becomes a feature, not a bug. All of it wrapped up in this carefully crafted aura of mystery.
You know, it's one thing to be mysterious, but it's a whole other thing to actively build an illusion. So, let's look at the architecture of that illusion, how it's actually put together and maintained to attract followers, and more importantly, to keep them.
Yeah, this quote from our source material really hits the nail on the head. It's not about providing evidence, it's about creating a feeling, an aura, that makes you want to believe. The persona itself is the real product here, and it's designed to feel powerful and all-knowing. And the ultimate goal of this system? It's to create dependency. By making sure he is the only source for this special information, he forces you to keep coming back for more. It's a loop that just reinforces your belief and makes it harder and harder to ever question the source.
So how exactly does he do it? This brings us to what we're calling the manipulation playbook. Let's break down the specific psychological techniques he's using to guide your attention and basically manufacture belief.
And you know what? It really boils down to a pretty simple four-step process. First, you create fear and a sense of urgency. That gets people desperate for answers. Second, you make predictions that are so vague they could apply to almost anything. Third, when an event happens that kind of fits, you frame it as a fulfilled prophecy. And finally, you just sit back and let confirmation bias do the heavy lifting for you. That's our natural tendency to see what we already believe is true.
And this is how that prophecy trick works in the real world. See, he's not predicting the future. He's just observing the present really, really well. He spots a trend that's already in motion, makes a vague statement about where it's likely headed, and then, when the inevitable happens, he steps forward to claim all the credit for his amazing foresight. So let's just put it side by side. The claim is prophetic insight. The reality? It's just selectively highlighting events that were probably going to happen anyway. It's not magic. It's a pretty clever media trick.
But here's the good news. Once you see the architecture of the system, once you see how it's built, you can also see how to break it. This is all about taking back control and reclaiming your own independent thought.
This metaphor from the source material is just perfect. He positions himself as a gatekeeper to the truth, like he's offering you the key. But in doing so, what he's really doing is controlling your perception, shaping what you see and how you interpret it all.
So how do you defend against this kind of thing? The answer is actually simple, but it's so powerful: critical thinking. It's the simple act of questioning the source, demanding some kind of verification, and just refusing to accept claims without proof.
And that really brings us to the final takeaway here. The Silas Orven system might seem complex and mysterious, but at the end of the day, it's an illusion. The most powerful system that you have access to is your own mind.
So, we'll leave you with this question to chew on. The Orven system is just one example of a constructed reality. The real challenge is to look at the world around you and ask, what other illusions are you choosing to believe?
Remember, if I die wasn't an accident, follow MansHubs.